Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture series of electromagnetic fields. We will discuss different theories, phenomena and numerical solution of different cases in this series. I hope this series will give a fruitful outcome to physics scholars or engineering students. So today we are going to learn about the review of vector analysis, and in this part we will go through some introduction and discussion. Then we will understand what is scalar and vector. We will also learn how to represent vector and what is unit vector. So let us begin. So the electromagnetics is a branch of physics which studies the electric and magnetic phenomena. The electric and magnetic fields are closely related to each other. At this point, one should think about what is field. So for that, let us consider a magnet. Now this magnet has its own effect around the space where it is laid. So a field can be defined as it is a area of space where some physical quantity is distributed with some direction and some magnitude. Fine. So if we move this magnet in this field like anywhere, then as you can see the direction of its magnetic field is varying. Okay, so as well as the intensity here, it is shown in as a bright and slow, so that you can see how does a field of any magnet changes when we move it towards the anywhere in the plane. Now if we want to judge this magnetic field, then we can use a compass. Fine. So as we know that opposite pole will attract each other and like poles will repel each other, so you move this compass anywhere in the region. Fine. So you will see the effect of magnetic field due to this bar magnet on the compass. Okay, now what will happen if I flip the polarity of the magnet? So by flipping the polarity of magnet, you will see the direction of field lines will interchange its original direction. Fine. And what will be the field inside this magnet? So inside this magnet, because outside the field lines will travel from north to south pole, but inside the magnet it will travel from south pole to north pole, and every magnetic field line will consist a closed path and no closed path will ever intersect. Fine. Now if we want to learn about the value of field, so here as you can see the x component of magnetic flux density, then this is the y component of magnetic flux density. So you can see that at each and every point some physical quantity, here it is magnetic field, is defined with some proper value. Okay, so this is how we can pretend what the field is. Another example of field can be learned with the help of charge. We know that each charge has some definite electrostatic field around it. If it is the positive charge, then field will originate from the center of that charge and terminate to the infinite. If the charge is negative, then as you can see this is a negative charge of 1 nanocoulomb, this is a positive charge of 1 nanocoulomb. Okay, so in case of negative charge, the field will terminate at the center of this charge. Fine. And this configuration is known as electric dipole. Fine. So we can learn by either things. Fine. Here I will just take positive charge for the reference. Okay, and we can have the value of voltages. So if we take a multimeter over here, then you can see that due to this plus 1 nanocoulomb charge, the potential at this point in the field is somewhat 9.40 433 volt. Okay, now there is another concept called equipotential surface. We will discuss the same when we will reach up to that topic in our lecture series. Okay, we can have a system consist of number of charges, okay, and due to these charges the value of electric field intensity will be different at each and every point, as you can see in this animation. So from this discussion we have now rough idea about field, and if we want to define the field, then we can say that field can be defined as the region in which at each point there exists a corresponding value of some physical function, or say quantity. That physical function may be anything, fine, because we are in the constant effect of gravitational field, fine, we are in the constant effect of magnetic field of earth, fine. So in practice everything living or non-living is under the effect of many natural or artificial fields. But for electromagnetics we will mainly consider on electrostatic field, electrodynamic field and magnetic fields, and we will learn each of these field in details as far as our lecture series functions. So the second topic is understanding of scalars and vectors. Now any physical quantity can be classified either as scalar quantity or vector quantity. Let's understand the meaning of each term in detail and clear some basic understanding about scalars and vectors. So scalar quantity, a quantity whose value may be represented by a single real number and no direction is required in describing the quantity is called scalar quantity. Now that single real number may be positive or it may be negative, that doesn't matter, but to describe any quantity we have no need of any direction, so such quantity is called scalar quantity. So the scalar quantity is wholly characterized by its magnitude. For example, temperature, mass, volume, electric charge, etc. So as we know that for temperature we generally use the term that nowadays temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, fine, but we need not to tell that in which direction, fine, because 27 is a average value of temperature for any particular volume we are considering, fine. Similarly, mass has also no need to give the direction if we want to describe the mass of any object or particle, volume and electric charges. So these quantities are called scalar quantities, where we can understand the meaning without having any knowledge of direction, or the knowledge of direction is not important to characterize such quantities, and these quantities are called scalar. Next is vector quantity. The vector is a quantity which can be wholly characterized by both a magnitude and a direction. A quantity which has both a magnitude and a specific direction in space is called vector quantity. For example, force, velocity, displacement, electric field intensity, etc. So as you can see, these are some example in which if you want to say that by pushing a hammer into nail I am giving 5 Newton of force, then it is not necessary that nail will penetrate the wall, because in which direction I am giving that 5 Newton force is very important, fine. So force is a quantity which can only be characterized by its magnitude as well as the direction. Same way, velocity and displacement is also the quantities in which we need the direction as well as the value of that particular quantity, fine. Moving further, Depending on the quantity, the fields are also classified in two types. The first one is scalar field and second one is vector field. So let us understand the scalar field. So a region in which a particular physical function has a value at each and every point is called scalar field, or the distribution of a scalar quantity with a definite position in a space is called scalar field. Fine. So generally any scalar quantity, if it has its effect around its neighbor space, then that space is called scalar quantity in a simple words. For example, temperature of atmosphere and sound in auditorium. So there are many more examples, but these two are very easy for us to understand. So as you can see, the temperature graph of our earth, this is the annual mean temperature of our globe. So as you can see, by just plotting the value of temperature with respect to some color, we need not have need any direction to represent the mean temperature of globe. Fine. This is a photograph of any society captured with infrared camera. Fine. And this is a conduction analysis on any metal in which a heat source is connected with our material and how the heat will flow. So these all are the example of scalar field. Similarly, second type of field is called vector field. So if a quantity which is specified in a region to define a field is vector, then the corresponding field is called a vector field. So some example of vector field is gravitational force on a mass in a space, velocity of particles in a moving fluid, wind velocity of atmosphere, magnetic field of earth, etc. So all these are vector fields. Fine. So as you can see, this is a wind velocity of atmosphere. So as you can see, the color of any contour shows the magnitude of wind, and the approach of that contour shows the direction of the wind. Fine. Similarly, if we talk about the magnetic field of earth, then this is our north pole and this is our south pole. So field lines originated from north and are being terminated to the south pole. Fine. Now third topic for today's lecture is how to represent a vector. So a vector in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions can be represented by a straight line with an arrow. The length of the line represents the magnitude and the arrow represents the direction of a vector. Symbol, it is symbolized by starting point, ending point and a bar sign at the top. So let us try to represent any vector in our free space. So let us keep O as a starting point and draw a vector of particular magnitude and a direction. Then T will be the terminating point of our vector. The length of the arrow line is called the magnitude of the vector and it is symbolized as OT bar or OT caret. Magnitude is defined as modulus of OT bar, which is L for this case. Then unit vector. A unit vector has a function to indicate the direction. Its magnitude is always unity irrespective of the direction or the coordinate system. Symbol A, small a with direction of vector with a bar sign at the top. So for the same vector that we have just represented in a free space, that is vector OT, fine, if we want to represent a unit vector in the direction of OT, then we can plot a small vector with unity magnitude, fine, and it can be symbolized as AOT bar. Now vector can be represented with the help of unit vector as, so OT bar will be magnitude of OT bar into AOT bar. Fine. Generally, unit vector has its very fundamental application to show the direction. Now from any known vector, the unit vector of its direction can be obtained by dividing the vector by its magnitude. So the formula to find unit vector of in the direction of any given vector is AOT bar is equals to OT bar divided by magnitude of OT bar.